Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Hi, I'm Terry Naturally. Got pain? Are your muscles aching and crying out for relief? Would you like a safe product without side effects to stop your pain? Curamin is your answer. Curamin is an award-winning formula that relieves pain safely and naturally. Live pain-free and enjoy doing the things you love. Feel the amazing difference with Curamin and make each day a pain-free day. It'll stop your pain or your money back.
Available locally at Healthy Times Market in Vernon. The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Good evening and welcome to Vernon Vibes. This edition is being recorded actually on the 14th of April. It's kind of on the cusp. Last evening was a council meeting and got lots and lots of things to talk to you about as a result of that. And tomorrow is federal income tax filing day. So right in between, I get to sit and talk with you, and I thank you for that. I want to start off, if I may, by calling to your attention. I alluded to it in some of the previous editions of Vernon Vibes, but I have some specific information, and I'd like to call to your attention that Vernon Townships Earth Fest, which has become a huge success and a large part of the community life here in Vernon, is scheduled for April 26th at Heaven Hill Farm, which is on Route 94 north of the center of town, from 11 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. And I can tell you in no uncertain terms, if you haven't been to Earth Fest, it's a great day for you and your family. It's very inexpensive. As a matter of fact, it doesn't have to cost you a thing if you don't want to spend it. But there's lots of things to see and lots of things to do, and there's all kinds of attractions and educational information kinds of booths from our Environmental Commission, our Economic Development Commission, as well as people who are in business in the tri-state area who have things that you might be interested in, services and goods and things of the like. And all of it is in celebration of the earth, which obviously is a very important part of what Vernon Township is all about. So I'd like to encourage you all to put it on your calendar, circle it. April 26th at Heaven Hill Farm in Vernon Township is the annual Earth Fest. It's brought to you by the Chamber of Commerce Charities. The proceeds or any positive cash that's generated from Earth Fest goes to underwrite scholarships for youngsters in Vernon Township who are headed to a higher education. So it's a way of celebrating the earth and giving back something to the community. And more importantly, it's a great time. Come on out. I'll be there. I never miss it. It's always a fun day. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Hi, I'm Terry Naturally. Got pain? Are your muscles aching and crying out for relief? Would you like a safe product without side effects to stop your pain? Curamin is your answer. Curamin is an award-winning formula that relieves pain safely and naturally. Live pain-free and enjoy doing the things you love. Feel the amazing difference with Curamin and make each day a pain-free day. It'll stop your pain or your money back.
Available locally at Healthy Times Market in Vernon.
Welcome back. A lot on the agenda, and much of it important. So let's take it one at a time. Last evening, after an executive session that was held to discuss the appraisals that were done by the professional appraisers that Vernon had hired in regard to the Camp Sussex purchase, or the potential Camp Sussex purchase, there was an executive session in which, the result of which, in public, during the mayor's report, I requested from the council direction as to whether or not to take the next step in the negotiation and conversation with the owners, or whether in fact to withdraw from the negotiations at this time. A unanimous decision from the council was to, in fact, withdraw from any further discussions or negotiations with the owners of Camp Sussex at this point in time. As a result, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Doesn't mean that at some future time, some future council, or even this council at a future time might change that directive. But you see, under our form of government, as I've been saying all along, it's the mayor's responsibility to do the negotiations of contracts, and it's up to the council to give direction. In other words, what's the policy of the town going to be? What's the direction that the town wants to go in? That happened in this particular case. I suspect that there are some out there who will be disappointed in this decision, and I would be less than honest if I didn't tell you I have a certain degree of disappointment myself. I see it as a potentially lost opportunity, although you never know. But on the other side, until there's a consensus, a strong consensus within the community to, in fact, increase parkland at public expense, particularly from the property tax, until there's a much stronger consensus that seemed to evolve around this issue, I think that the council made a wise decision, candidly. More importantly, the appraised value that was brought forth by the professional appraisers versus the asking price of the property that's been made public in the real estate multi-listings and in the real estate markets is so far apart that, frankly, any conversation between the two at this point in time really appears to be counterproductive. So I will follow the lead of the town council, which is exactly what we were doing all along, contrary to the comments made by adversaries and political opponents. There's a process that has to be followed, and your government followed it, and we have reached a decision at this point in time, and I'm happy to be able to tell you that's how the government's supposed to work. And so we'll move on from the issue for now, and I wish the very best of luck to the owners of the property. I'm sure that they will come up with some ideas as to what the best and highest use can be for that property. That responsibility rests with them at this point in time. So the offices of the mayor and the land use area, our planning and zoning department and building department, as well as fire and safety, will all serve that landowner the same as we serve all landowners when it comes to issues between the town and the property owners. So we wish them luck, and I'll be back in just a minute to tell you about some other things.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Welcome back. Another issue that was a topic of discussion last evening between the mayor and the council was what to do about Lake Walkill Road. And as has been reported, the budget that last evening was adopted by the town council, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next segment or thereafter. There was $100,000 placed to be matched by $400,000 that we anticipated as a grant from the Federal Wildlife Refuge. And in truth and in fact, we did win those grants, but that money because of the way the Fed does things, won't be available to us until 2016. I've already made a commitment to the people that live over there that we're going to begin doing what needs to be done in 2015. I'm going to keep that commitment. I wish I could tell you as I'm talking to you right now exactly what that will look like in 2015, but I will promise you this. By the time the original plan, which was a 3-year program, is over, starting with 15, 16, and 17, that road will be repaired. And if we take the money from the federal government, the township is then bound to build that road to federal highway standards. Now, I don't want to get too technical here, but here's what you need to understand. If, in fact, we accept the $400,000 and possibly $200,000 for calendar year 15 and 16, which would be like $800,000, the original project, which was projected to cost about $1.3 million in 3 segments, Segment A from Lake Wallkill Road to Bassett Bridge Road in 2015, approximately $500,000 to $600,000. From Bassett Bridge to Owen Station Road in 2016, again, about $500,000 to $600,000. And the last segment, from Owen Station to the New York State line, again, roughly the same numbers. So we were looking at 1.5 to 1.8 million in estimates of what it would take to mill that road and resurface it. When we did core sampling of that roadway, here's what we found out. There's no subbase in that road at all. As a matter of fact, that part of the road simply, I think, was asphalt laid over oil and stone that had been laid over some farmer's path through his pastures some very long time ago. That presents us with the issue of repairing the road to the federal highway spec, the additional cost of doing that, and one of the costs is going to be acquiring rights-of-way from private individuals so that we have the width that's required and so that we can make the changes that are necessary in the topography of the land as it abuts Lake Wallkill. Those of you who ride on it know that as you go north from the entrance to Lake Wallkill, north toward New York State, there are sections of the road where the slope along the right-hand side or the northbound lane is virtually sheer. And water comes pouring down that mountain. And yes, there's a trench along the side of the road, but that water gathers in the trench and then it seeps under the pavement where there's no subbase or no subroad. As a result, along comes winter, freeze thaw. And if you notice when you drive the road, and I've done it many, many times, those of you who do know what I'm saying to be true, that right-hand side of Lake Wallkill Road, right from the beginning at Lake Wallkill entrance, going north is a problem all the way, and it has to do with its proximity to the slope of the mountain that it runs between, the mountain and the meadow, which is the wildlife refuge. We have to deal with all those problems. I don't mean to make it complex, but I do want the people in Vernon to hear from me exactly what's happening up to the minute. I am committed to the repair of Lake Wallkill. I will go as far as I can. If I win re-election, I'll pursue it beyond that. Hopefully we'll have in place, no matter who's mayor next year, that the road gets done. But one way or another, it's going to happen. And unfortunately, things don't always go the way you planned. It's important to be able to look at that and say, okay, how do we solve that problem? We're going to do it. You have my word. I'll be back in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Terry Naturally. Got pain? Are your muscles aching and crying out for relief? Would you like a safe product without side effects to stop your pain? Curamin is your answer. Curamin is an award-winning formula that relieves pain safely and naturally. Live pain-free and enjoy doing the things you love. Feel the amazing difference with Curamin and make each day a pain-free day. It'll stop your pain or your money back.
Available locally at Healthy Times Market in Vernon. The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Welcome back. Another one of the issues that was dealt with last night was the rehiring of the New Jersey Land Conservancy for consulting services to Vernon Township. There were people from the public who spoke against this, and all I can tell you is that either the people who spoke against it don't understand or have a motive of some sort, political or otherwise. But when people tell me that a conversation that is now available publicly from an executive session is allowed in the law for conversations concerning strategy, decision-making, information gathering in regard to several specific areas, one of which is litigation, the other of which is negotiation of contracts. And what was happening was that the Environmental Commission was having a conversation with the consultant from the Land Conservancy about Camp Sussex and, in fact, what were some of the things that they were facing. The advice that was given by the consultant from Land Conservancy, in fact, was on target and has been taken out of context for political purposes. And so, therefore, the kinds of comments that were made in the public section of last evening's meetings need to be seen by you, the Vernon Vibes watchers. You know now that in addition to being able to link from the Vernon Township website to Vernon Vibes, you can do the same and see the town council meetings. The way you do it is you go to the page that says meetings, and you click on the little green drop down, and what happens is the list of town council meetings that are available via video on YouTube, just like Vernon Vibes, has a little TV camera next to it. If you click on that little TV camera, you'll get to watch, and you'll hear and see some of the accusations that have been made about manipulation of information and how dare the Land Conservancy give the kind of advice that they gave. Ladies and gentlemen, the New Jersey Land Conservancy is known nationally and held in high esteem throughout New Jersey for what they do. When I came to office, they were already consultants for the town, and my initial reaction was, who needs them? Well, I'm going to tell you, after 4 years of working with them, we do. We do. They are the facilitators of, excuse me, and the motivators behind the purchase and preservation of open land in the state of New Jersey. And anybody who proclaims themselves to be for open space and to be concerned about the environment, such as the two council people who voted against the budget last night, okay, ought to understand that that service from the Conservancy is worth every bit of the total of $13,000 for a year's worth of consulting. That consulting included doing all of the requests for proposals and all the necessary things that would be required in terms of the negotiation and the value setting of Camp Sussex. We have in our possession, as a result of the Land Conservancy, an overall map and then sub-maps of every piece of property that Vernon Township either owns or owns tax certificates on. You'll recall I've talked to you about this in the past. When I came in as your mayor, there were 400 parcels of land that Vernon had tax certificates on that they'd never taken title to. That number has been cut almost in half because of the work done by the Land Conservancy in conjunction with our legal firm, which went through the process. That has saved us, Vernon Township taxpayers, considerable money. I'd like to be able to tell you the number right off the top of my head, but I'd rather not be misquoted. But I'm telling you, our reserve for uncollected taxes was favorably impacted by the program I just talked to you about. Without the Land Conservancy, the likelihood of our succeeding in this program and the saving of money for you would be this: zero. I take umbrage from people who make those kinds of comments because they've been fed information, because they've been told that this is what is, or this is what isn't, or this is what happened. There certainly There's never been a manipulation of information in this administration that I'm aware of, and if I do become aware of it, I put a stop to it. It's simple. You may not like the straight talk you get from this mayor's chair, but I demand it of the people that work for me, and that works to your benefit. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Hi, I'm Terry Naturally. Got pain? Are your muscles aching and crying out for relief? Would you like a safe product without side effects to stop your pain? Curament is your answer. Curament is an award-winning formula that relieves pain safely and naturally. Live pain-free and enjoy doing the things you love. Feel the amazing difference with Curament and make each day a pain-free day. It'll stop your pain or your money back.
Available locally at Healthy Times Market in Vernon.
Welcome back. There are a couple more things I'd like to touch on from last night's meeting that I think are important. And as I promised in the beginning, we're going to talk about the budget, but we'll do that at the end. Right now, I'd like to call to your attention the fact that, in fact, the council approved several resolutions last evening, actually by a 5-0 vote, which was very heartening to see. And I just want to run through a couple of them. One of them was the contract with the Land Conservancy that I talked about. Okay, the other ones were in regard to the developers agreement between New Jersey CVS Pharmacy in relation to their preliminary and final site plan and subdivision, and acceptance of their performance bond of New Jersey CVS to begin the construction process. Ladies and gentlemen, I've alluded to this, I've spoken to it. I think at this point in time I would venture to say that before another edition or two of this show, Vernon Vibes, I'm going to have our producers out at the corner of Main Street and Route 94 just filming away as they begin the construction of a brand new CVS pharmacy facility for the town center. The first of this administration. We have worked hard to set the table for this kind of development. The ownership of the CVS Corporation has in fact agreed to and bought into the entire theme of developing our downtown, which we've talked about in the past. There are basically two architectural themes, one of which is referred to as the Appellation, where there's stone and exposed beam. You see that at the Highlands Bank, you see that at the Great Red Tail Lodge, you see it at the Appellation, you see it at the new Dollar General store down in McAfee, okay? Or the other is Mountain Rural, and some of that you can see along Church Street and other places in the town center. So the point of the matter is I'm excited about it. That CVS plans to be open 24 hours, 7 days a week, which will give us a very, very vibrant focus to the absolute center of the new town center in Vernon Township. We're really happy about it. I want to thank the council for their supporting it. I'll be right back.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Welcome back. As I promised, in the last section of this edition, I want to talk to you about the budget. The budget has been passed. The votes were cast last evening near the end of the meeting, and they were recorded as such. Councilman Dick Wetzel, yes. Councilman Brian Lynch, yes. Councilman Dan Kadish, no. Councilwoman Jean Murphy, no. And Council President Pat Rizzuto, yes. So by a 3-2 vote, the budget now becomes law. And it, in fact, allows us to move forward with those projects that we have committed to in the budget process, which was reviewed thoroughly by the town council, by the financial committee here in the mayor's office, which is made up, of course, as you know, of Elke Yetter, our CFO, Bill Zuckerman, our business administrator, and myself, the mayor. It's our responsibility under the statute that created this new form of government that we're functioning under to prepare the budget and present it to the council for their approval, up or down. Between those two ends of the responsibility, an entire process of review took place in the month of February, where every department head went before the town council in work sessions, answered their questions line by line, and the administrative office, represented by Bill Zuckerman and Elke Yetter, took notes of those meetings and in fact came back to me, the mayor, and said, here are the changes, the modifications that the council would like to see in the budget. Can we accommodate them? And I am here to tell you that we accommodated the council in every respect, including the wishes of Mr. Kadish and Mrs. Murphy. To have represented at the town council meeting that didn't happen and that they were going to vote no in the case of Mr. Kadish because he wanted another meeting. Once that budget was introduced, okay, another meeting meant reintroduction. Where was he? He was in all those work sessions. He had all those opportunity to speak his mind, and he did something last evening that he needs to be called on. He claimed that he's aware of $2 million in the budget that could be saved. Yet, upon the invitation of CFO Elke Yetter, when he came in and sat down across the desk from her, he could not, in any way, shape, or form, come up with even $2,000 worth of changes. Yet he contended again last night that he could do it. Mr. Kadish, if you can do it, I'll do the same thing for you I did for Freeholder Crab. I'll give you this camera, and you tell the people of Vernon Township where it is. If it's right, we'll make the change, we'll reintroduce the budget, and if it's wrong, you're going to apologize to my CFO and my business administrator. They are licensed professionals, and they do not misrepresent nor avoid answering your or anyone else's question. You, the people of Vernon Township, can rest assured of one thing, okay? Every single thing that this mayor and this administration has done since I walked through the door is a matter of public record, has been transparent, and we have not hidden or run from any of our responsibilities, and it's not going to happen now. I thank you for tuning in. I hope you find it valuable. Friday morning, 17th of April, Vic Morado will be doing Our Town on WTBQ at 8:05. Tune in at 93.5 FM or 1110 AM. It's a fun show. I did one already. I really like it. You want to hear what the mayor has to say straight from the horse's mouth, the way we do it here in Vernon Vibes? You can do it on your way to work. So tune in. I look forward to seeing and having a chance to talk with you once again. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.